On Dodson's Corner, we are known as a couple of absolute dogs out here, which means that once in a while, we like to tail with the underdog. So today, we're going to be going through and we're going to be talking about the underdogs coming up in the UFC that we're backing. You know, we want to back these dogs because we believe that they should be the favorite in these fights.
This is not betting advice.
It's not.
Should we say that first?
DraftKings, though?
Hit us up, bro. Hit us up.
I was off that bandwagon, but I'm like, I want the DraftKings.
He wants the bag now.
Put it right here in the little corner here.
All right. Should we start off? I'll start us off because this is the reason why I thought of this video. The MVP versus Shara Bullet fight.
That's actually my first one, too.
It's MVP when I last looked was a 2-1 underdog.
It's not quite that anymore.
But who knows? It could change closer to the fight.
Especially, yeah, it could. Right now, plus 154.
Okay. That's
It's the odds I found for him for Shar Magomedov. But still, it's like MVP, this proven striker, versus Shara, who's like hasn't fought a ranked opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, MVP, he has that win over Kevin Holland and then that decision loss to Ian Gary. But like, still, were both good fights for MVP. And like the level of Ian Gary is nowhere near anyone who Shara Bullet has faced.
For sure. And MVP is 22-3. So he has a great record. He's been around for a long time. Even if it was beating up Bellator bums, like people like to comment, he still has so much experience in fights. I think also his range control, like what is Shara gonna do when he can't land kicks?
That's
like,
true.
Shara does not have much power. You know, it's just very tap, 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 tap.
Tap, tap,
and then you like land something big and, you know, it works sometimes. I wouldn't say Shara's a consistent, like, pinpoint accurate striker. The dude just throws kicks out there and somehow something lands. But if it doesn't, usually it goes to a decision.
Well, and here's the thing for MVP is he's going to be having to look to put out Shara Bullet just because those Saudi Arabian judges,
that's
they're
true.
giving it.
Wait,
Any close round is going to Shara.
Nah, bro. MVP has good strats. He converted to Muslim before this fight. I'm not kidding. He did.
Actually?
Yeah, he actually converted to Muslim. Probably just for this fight.
You pull it out in like the full like Muslim getup.
Yeah, and then he'll go fight in Texas and he'll be a Christian, you know? I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, like this is one of the fights where it's like I think it's pretty even between the two fighters. So like when you have plus 154 or whatever it's going to close at, plus 160, plus 140, this is one of the fights where if you're going to bet on it, you take the underdog. The value in this fight is MVP.
For sure. I would bet on
like
him.
Such degenerates.
If you statistically analyze it. All right, let's move on to my next fight. I think we both have the same one probably. It's the Gaethje and Dan Hooker fight.
That's not next on my list, so I'll talk about it later.
Okay, well.
Actually, I'll talk about it now.
Let's just talk about it now. Dan Hooker is the underdog, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gaethje, he's not coming back from that, is he?
Gaethje's a little chitty. Little chitty. So is Hooker.
Yeah.
Hooker in his past. So maybe we're just absolutely just delusional about these tattoos. Thinking that Hooker has reinvented himself. Because just because he got tattoos doesn't mean he has a new chin. But the odds I'm seeing, it is pretty close, like plus 125 for Hooker. So it's almost pick 'em.
Right.
By the time this fight closes, I would probably assume that it'll be a little bit better odds just because Gaethje has more fans and they're like, oh, Justin Gaethje. But like Hooker, like if you gave me these fighters at pick 'em odds, I would take Hooker in this fight.
Yeah, this one was tough. I think whoever is the underdog, you'd probably just ride with them because it is like a toss-up, stand and bang. What I am worried about with Gaethje is his obvious chin. Like, he's taken so much damage over his career and then getting flatline KO'd. It's that question of, can he come back? Can he recover? He has taken a good amount of time off, you know? It's been since April last year, so it's been almost, 8 months or something?
I think it's like 10 or
No.
9.
Oh, yeah, like 9 months.
By the time of this fight, though, it'll be about 10
Oh,
months.
true. Yeah, because it's in March.
313.
Yeah.
Oh, 11 months.
Yeah, okay, so he's
Time
almost...
flies when you're having fun, you know? Let's just remember the good old days.
Yeah, man. UFC 300 does not seem that long ago, does it?
No.
So
Seems
sad.
like just yesterday.
Honestly. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. His training camp, would have started about a couple weeks ago. So by the time he started going to hard sparring, it's probably been about 10 months where he's had his brain a chance to recover. I think that's long enough, but he's also turning that corner above 35 now. And historically, that's not the best age.
Well, and a word we've been mentioning a lot is momentum around here on Dodson's Corner. Gaethje has jack all for momentum right now.
Yeah.
He was the biggest meme of 2025. Potentially, you know, him and Jamal Hill. Like, there was no video that I saw more than Justin Gaethje's backflip into dead on the mat. Where Hooker, you know, he has all this momentum. You know, he might be hotter at this point in his career than he's ever been before, coming off that win over Gamrot, where the whole UFC community doubted him. You know, he came off that win, and he just has the momentum right now. People are like, "Oh, you get the title shot."
One thing I am worried about is Hooker's striking looked good against Gamrot, which isn't like that much of a great thing, you know?
But he also had to worry about the takedowns.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying with Gaethje's such a striker heavy build, he's not going to have to worry about takedowns. And I think Hooker's actually really good at stuffing takedowns, which then makes his striking better against grapplers or mixed martial artists. When he has to go up against just a striker, it's really just flip of the coin what happens.
Well, and here's the thing. The real question in this fight is Dan Hooker going to be able to stop the deadly rolling thunder of Justin Gaethje? Because it's due to hit. It's due to hit at one point. You know, these bets are due to hit. Yeah. So is that rolling thunder. We're getting close to the time where it surely has to hit. You know, he's just going to be spamming it when he's like 38 years old, trying to make it hit to the first time. Just like landing on his neck, tweaking out after self-KO because he misses it. But yeah, Dan Hooker being the underdog in this fight, it's super close. So in a fight like this, you just got to go with the underdog.
There we go. All right, let's move on. I'll give you my next one. I think this is a prediction, okay? I'm not sure. The odds aren't out. This fight should happen in the future. Dricus versus Khamzat Chimaev. I think it's going to be closer. Look, I know I say this every time about a Khamzat fight. It's going to be closer than people think. All right? Dricus has strong wrestling. He's freaking huge. He dominated Rob Whittaker similar to what Khamzat did. Obviously not quite as fast and not a submission, but man, I just cannot buy into the Khamzat hype completely, okay?
His last name ends in a V. He's minimum minus 1,000 favorite, you know?
Khamzat?
Yeah.
Does not end in a V.
Chimaev.
Oh,
oh, someone can't spell.
Cut that. Editor, cut that. Oh, wait, editor's me. It's going to cut. But yeah, I honestly think Dricus has a shot. He has a shot. And if I were to bet, I just cannot place my trust in someone like Khamzat.
At what odds would you bet Dricus in that fight?
Plus 250.
Ooh, he's risky. I'd say like plus 4. I don't know if they would get that high. Like, I could realistically see this fight being where like minus 600 for Chimaev, plus 400 for Dricus. And
that's huge.
But if you get there, then it's like the only person you can bet in that fight is Dricus.
Yeah.
You know?
So they automatically even out.
Yeah.
So I think at the most he'd be plus 300. I mean, he's a champion. Even if we look at Merab versus Umar, that was Merab being plus 200, around there.
Plus 250.
Yeah. So that's another case where the champion is proven, kind of like Dricus is, but he's still a plus 250. So I could see a similar thing happening.
Yeah. I think at those odds, it's one of those things like, I'm not touching that. You don't know what's actually going to happen. Like, I'm obviously going to back Khamzat just because that's my boy.
Well, on a good night, I think anyone would back Khamzat. Mm-hmm. It's just, does the weigh-in go well? Is he happy Khamzat, mad Khamzat?
It's all about how he looks at that presser.
Yeah.
If he pulls that turtleneck back out, it's over for Dricus.
For sure.
That's the last time you're ever going to kiss your coach. Kiss him goodbye, Dricus. Your career's over. Let's move on to my next fight. My next fight, we can kind of talk about both these at the same time. 2 fights from UFC 312. Jack Jenkins, plus 160 versus Gabriel Santos. And Tom Nolan. I'm just really backing, traditionally inside of the UFC, the hometown fighters, they always lose. They always lose. Or maybe that's just our Canadian bias.
That's just Canadians, yeah.
Okay, but Jack Jenkins, that's my dog.
Yeah.
That's my Australian dog. So him being plus 160, and neither Gabriel Santos or Vyacheslav are like super impressive to me. It's nothing from either of those guys where it's like, yeah, I think that those guys are going to absolutely just dominate Jenkins and Nolan. So I'm rocking with the hometown boys, Jack Jenkins and Tom Nolan. 2 of the Australian fighters that it's like, I actually want to watch this fight. I'm actually going to back this guy. They both have personality. They both like, they just give off that Australian flair inside of the ring. They love to just like, they have a little bit extra to them. So like, especially Jack Jenkins being plus 160.
That's surprising.
I really like those odds. Yeah. Tom Nolan plus 110. I would if I were to pick 'em winner between that fight, I would go Nolan and Jenkins in both of those fights. So it's kind of just like, with them both being underdogs in that fight, I'm going to back both of them.
So it's almost a parlay, as the bettors say.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know the lingo. All right, I'll move on to my next fight. I like that, though. Rock with the hometown boys. UFC 312 is ass. Let's move on. Pereira versus Ankalaev, bro. How is Pereira opening as the underdog? When I saw this, I was like, am I surprised? Not really. But then I thought about it more, and I looked at their records, and then I remembered that Ankalaev literally only has the V at the end.
V. It's the V.
V taper? What is that? What is it? V taper? What am I saying?
Low taper fade.
Shut up. Oh, it's a workout thing.
Oh, there's a V taper haircut.
Oh, shit.
Oh, where it goes down. That's the Cole Palmer. It's the Ice Palmer.
People were hating on your Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh, I saw that.
The comments are so funny. Some of them loved it, some of them hated it.
They were just like, well, he's so skilled, he just isn't in the right position. They have been saying that his whole career. Like, I think I literally said in the video, he is one of the most skilled players in the whole world. His skill is world class. I think he's just stupid. I think he's stupid and has no IQ for the game of football. For the game of soccer. For the North. Oh, Britishers just.
Bro, someone commented on our video. Remember when we doxed ourselves, or you doxed us?
Oh, yeah.
Someone's like, y'all from the lower mainland? Hell no, bro.
No, we moved to Texas.
Yeah, so. We moved to Texas. You can't find us. Drop the address. Anyways, back to Pereira versus Ankalaev. If we go back to the resumes, Ankalaev coming off the Johnny Walker KO. No one does that to Johnny Walker, man. No one does that. And then the Jan Blachowicz draw. Am I literally going insane? Pereira has a win over Khalil Roundtree, which was a difficult fight. Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska, and then Jan Blachowicz. All 5 of those wins, and Israel Adesanya, all 6 of those wins are better than anything Ankalaev has ever done in his career and ever will do.
Yeah. It's literally...
Knock on wood.
Okay, so I was thinking about this again yesterday. We talked about, they think that he strikes like Pereira and wrestles like Khabib. Mm-hmm. I think that they're, just considering... Ankalaev just John Jones, it's like, oh, he can wrestle and strike.
Dude, I saw someone in the comments of the hot take video say that Ankalaev would beat prime John Jones. It must have been rage bait. It must have been rage bait.
But how are you realistically, we are not saying that Ankalaev has no chance in this fight.
No, he has a chance for sure.
I'm just 70% Pereira, 30% Ankalaev.
Yeah.
Because you never know what'll happen. And Ankalaev technically does have the skill set to beat a guy like Alex Pereira. But I think that Alex Pereira over the last 2 years has gotten significantly better, which is super rare for someone at his old age. Yeah. We are seeing new levels to him every single fight. 2 years ago, he beat Jan Blachowicz. As close as it was, he beat Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah.
Ankalaev did not beat Jan Blachowicz. No. And as much as we don't like to MMA math it out here, there is just nothing that we're seeing from Ankalaev over the last year plus that has made us think he can beat Alex Pereira. He has not shown anything. Yeah. He has showed mid.
Oh, people are going to get mad at me for not mentioning his last one, which is Rakic. Bro, I literally forgot about it. That's how irrelevant the Rakic win is. It means nothing.
You put Pereira versus Rakic. Rakic's out in the first round.
Yeah. For sure.
Rakic lost to Yuri and Pereira beat MMA math in it real hard.
MMA math is going crazy. But also, I do think that the Yuri fight proved that he's not washed and not over the hill. He still has a chin. He did have better head movement. So those 2 Yuri Prohaska wins for Pereira are aging even better now. Now that Yuri beat the number 1 contender pretty much, other than Ankalaev, I think that validates him a lot.
Yeah, and it's do we think that there's a chance that Ankalaev could be Pereira's toughest matchup inside a light heavyweight? I think he probably is.
Yeah, maybe.
Stylistically,
yes. We'll have to see how the fight plays
yeah,
out.
who knows how good Ankalaev actually is? Like this guy has showed nothing.
Once he feels a leg kick, I think he's just gonna walk out of the cage. See ya.
And it's like for Ankalaev, it's like he just like has not continued to do nothing and has continued to show nothing. He's waiting for this fight on perfect circumstances because he thinks he needs these perfect circumstances.
Yeah, but then he ended up having to take
Pereira.
it. He ended up having to take it during Ramadan.
No, Ramadan's in April, pre-Ramadan.
No, this is during Ramadan. It's at the start.
Is it?
Yeah, it's at the start. Pereira literally gamed the system. Pereira is so smart that he was like, yo, I'm the champion. I'm going to take all the advantage I can get. Ramadan.
Yeah, so
it's at the start though. So like most of his training camp will be obviously not in Ramadan. I think the last week will be.
Yeah.
Which he's dieting anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Who cares? Little vegan boy.
All right, moving on. My first, I mean, we've already talked about it, but a fight that is odds that are a little bit weird. It's a fight night main event. Brandon Royval versus Manel Kopp. Who do you think the favorite is?
Oh, I have this one on my list too.
Okay.
Give me Brandon Royval all day.
Plus 165?
All day.
Like
every day of the week I'm taking that.
Like
he's so good.
You put this fight pick him, it's close.
Yeah.
164, Royval all day.
Yeah.
Like
that's literally I literally wrote on my sheet, give me Royval all day.
We on that same wavelength. It's like Manel Kopp, he just literally goes, there's no middle ground on this guy. It's either worst fighter in the featherweight or the flyweight division. Oh, he's beaten Pantoja. Yeah. It's two sides of the spectrum. Like, come on, guys, let's be realistic. Great, powerful striker.
Fast. Very fast.
That's all. That is all. Brandon Royval, outside of Pantoja, might be the most well-rounded fighter in that flyweight division.
He's so good. I don't understand how people are still underrating him. I don't care that Manel Kopp had a great performance against Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, he's a nobody. He doesn't have any good wins or a good okay, if you want to really break it down, sure, he has some good wins, but he's not on the same level as any of the top 5 guys other than Amir Albazi.
Well, Bruno Silva is going to stand, he's going to just stand relatively still. Very easy for Manel Kopp to strike with him.
Yeah.
Royval does not stand still.
No.
That dude is going to move around all day long. Is just going to be that scrappy raw dog that he is. He's the raw dogger for a reason. He's scrappy like that.
You do love that nickname. It's one of my favorites. I remember the first time we ever did a short where we were guessing nicknames and I put that one on there. You just died.
I got so cooked in that video. If you're looking at this fight, who is the better fighter? It is Brandon Royval.
Yeah.
It is Brandon Royval. Manel Kopp has that one-punch KO power, which is so rare inside of flyweight, something that Royval doesn't have. So realistically, Kopp could go and finish flatline Royval.
It's just so unlikely.
It's just, this is the toughest fight you could make for Manel Kopp. Even a guy like Brandon Moreno, a lot easier of a fight.
Yeah.
But Royval he has that cardio. He has that guessing. He's just not going to stop moving. He's probably going to take down Kopp in this fight.
He could, yeah.
It
would make sense for him.
Because then you can't get knocked out while you've got him down. So it's just like, for this fight, it just really doesn't make sense to have, Manel Kopp, who's the 6th ranked guy. He literally got to 6 from beating Bruno Silva. Before that, he was like 11.
Was he?
Yeah, he was super low when he fought Makai. They were like 10 and 11 in the division.
Oh, wow.
So to have him have this, he's realistically not this, he might be the 6th best flyweight, but to go up against the number 1, who has been the number 1 for so long, has beaten everyone outside of Pantoja, has beaten Moreno, it's like, you just got to look at it. Be realistic.
Yeah. I think people who are picking Cap are just emotional. They're like, they see the last performance, the hype is there. I got to rock with Royval all day. Let's move on to my next pick. I got Jan Blachowicz versus Carlos Ulberg.
This is a lock.
Can you tell me the odds on this?
Plus 190.
Plus 190 for Blachowicz.
This is a lock.
So easy.
Put the house on it.
The easiest bet of my life.
Steal your mom's credit card. Put it in.
Well, I wouldn't do that.
Jan Blachowicz, dude just turned 76 today. Everyone, happy 76th birthday, Jan Blachowicz, down in the comments. But it's like, what has Ulberg showed inside of the UFC? The biggest takeaway I have from Ulberg over this last year, he has no gas tank.
Yeah.
He has no gas tank. And no gas tank for a guy like Ulberg means you can't put a guy out, which is his thing. His crazy black jag power. But when he's gassed out, by the end of the first round. Like he is genuinely like has nothing left by the end of the first round.
Especially if he actually faces someone who can put a bit of pressure on him, right? He's usually the one who's trying to push forward and pressure. He's not even throwing that much. So I think when he gets in front of someone who's a high level light heavyweight, which there isn't many of them, but I would say Blachowicz is one of them, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than he thinks.
Does Alberg trains at City Kickboxing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's cooked.
I'm telling you, CKB ruins fighters.
He's cooked.
Yeah.
He's cooked. They don't do stamina.
No.
Just kick. Just kick on the bag.
Well, that was, I mean, you used to see this with Izzy years ago. You know, first and second round, he's looking for the KO. Third and fourth round, it's a coast round. You know, they're coasting.
Yeah. So, like, Alberg here, he realistically, if he is going to win this fight, has to finish Jan Blachowicz in the first round. And I think,
or hurt him badly.
Yeah.
So
like,
badly that he can't recover.
Yeah. And it's like for Alberg here, it's like there is a chance, you know, the big layoff for Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah.
It's like he's got to take, you know, it might take him a little bit of time to get back into, you know, octagon speed, you know, like no matter what he does in his training camp, it's nothing like being in the octagon itself. So he has to get adjusted to being in the octagon.
That is the one thing that it worries me just the slightest amount, because we do talk about age and he is very old for a fighter, but I do think he's one
77.
of those. Shut up.
Wait, I'm sorry, I messed up. 77th birthday today. Everyone, happy 77th birthday, Jan Blachowicz. We're making it to 100 by UFC London.
No, we're not. I think he's one of those rare fighters who can actually just fight into their 40s fine. You know, you see like Alex Pereira leveling up. He's not quite that age. You saw DC level up. I think he's just a weird superhuman. Yo Romero was a huge one. He's just one of those guys that just has built differentness.
Well, here's the thing is all Jan Blachowicz has to do is realist. If Jan Blachowicz can take down Alberg in the first round and have about 2 minutes of control time, this fight's over. This fight is over.
Yeah.
No matter if it's 3 rounds or 5 rounds, because the amount of like cardio that Alberg is going to have to use to try to stay alive.
Yeah.
Jan Blachowicz is going to sail on top. He's going to coast on top in that first round if he can take him down. And it's like Alberg's going to have to use so much that he has no chance to put him away, and Alberg can just continue to take him down. And it's like Alberg's strong, but it's like Jan Blachowicz is strong, man. He is strong.
He's got a good build.
So it's like if I had this fight pick him odds, it's Jan Blachowicz. It's not even close to pick him odds. Like Jan Blachowicz might close as like plus 200.
Yeah.
Free.
I could see that for sure.
Free, because people are like, Alberg, yeah, black jag, long cock.
I think I'm the only one saying that. All right. Do you want to move on to your next pick?
My next one is I only have one left.
Okay, I'll go again then.
Okay.
I got Bilal versus Shavkat. I think Bilal's just going to 49-46 him, unfortunately. I think Shavkat will probably close as a minus 200 favorite. Again, this is a prediction. Assuming this fight gets made, I do think Shavkat's still going to be hyped up. You know, casuals see the 19-0 undefeated streak. They watch a highlight. They're like, oh, this guy's a killer, man. That's literally you. And then Bilal, he just has no good finishes. His biggest highlight is the head bonk, which was funny. I just think it's going to be really unfortunate when Bilal takes him down and Shavkat can't get up. You know, he couldn't get up against Ian Gary in the 5th round. It was the 5th round, so you can't take too much away from him, but I don't think Ian Gary's quite the same level of wrestler as Bilal. I do think Bilal is kind of like, he's kind of Khabib maxing. You know, he's at the gym. He's like, yeah, I'm part of the team, guys. Bro, you're not part of the team. Come on.
Well, I think for a guy like Bilal, it's like, it's going to be tough for Shavkat to submit Bilal.
Yeah.
That's going to be real tough. Like, I think that it's very, like, it's going to be like, he's got to get him into like the perfect submission, you know, kind of thing where everything kind of just works out. He cracks him and then, you know, goes for the rear naked or something like that.
When it's like, you look at the Merab and Umar fight, by all logic, Umar is a more technical and better fighter. Merab, built different, bro. That's the difference. And I think Bilal has the work ethic and he has the built differentness to just go out there and spam. It doesn't matter if he fails. He's just spamming takedowns over and over again.
He's got that plot armor.
He does have plot armor.
He's got plot armor.
And like anti-plot armor because Dana doesn't want him there.
Like as much as Shavkat's my number 2 fighter, like it's like
who's your number 1?
Patty.
Oh, okay.
It's like this fight's tough.
Yeah.
This is a tough fight for Shavkat. So like like when the odds eventually come out when this fight's made, it'll be interesting to see because like I think in a fight like this, you kind of almost have to just ride with the underdog is the smart play there.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's going to be Bilal.
It probably will be. Even though I don't think he should be. Like, I think that, like, right now, Bilal has everything
to beat a guy like Shavkat.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, I'll move on to one more before you go for your last one. Marcin Tybura versus Mick Parkin.
Oh, Tybura is 100% going to be the underdog.
I'm 90% sure Tybura is going to be a big underdog because of the hype around Mick Parkin and Tom Aspinall. I'm calling Tybura back-to-back fraud checks.
Over Denise and Parkin?
I think
Isn't
it's going to happen.
Isn't that 2 zeros or Denise had one?
Yeah, I think it's 2 zeros maybe.
Denise might have had one loss. Like, he might have been like 9-1 or something like that. But he was like, still heavyweight prospect, even though that doesn't really mean much.
It doesn't mean niche. So I think Tybura is about ranked 7 or 8 right now. And Mick Parkin is 15th. So this would be a massive step up in competition. It gets Mick Parkin in that upper echelon of fighters. And then if he keeps moving up, he's looking at a Sergey Pavlovich fight or a Jairzinho Rosenstrike fight, like big matchups for him in the future, or even a Jailton Almeida. But I think Almeida is going to be fighting up. We'll talk about that later. I do not like how hyped up Mick Parkin is.
He's fat.
Yes, he's
fat.
That's why you call him Mick Porky.
Well, here's the thing. There's 2 types of heavyweights. There's the heavyweights who are like actually skilled, and then there's fat heavyweights. I'm never backing a fat heavyweight again in my life.
Dude, the blobs are overpowered.
No.
They are. The blobs are overpowered.
No, they're fat. They don't do anything. They have no skill. They're just fat.
Shamil Gaziev, you're telling me that guy doesn't have skill? Come on, give me a break.
I retract my statement.
He's also fighting on the Riyadh card. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
They're just giving him free layups, though. Just unranked guys. You never heard of them in your life.
There's no free fights with Shamil Gaziev. He's got to make it through all 3 rounds.
That's a good point.
Here's the thing is, a guy like Shamil, sorry to get off track, he probably doesn't ever want to make it to like the top of the card. 5 rounds?
Hell no.
5 rounds?
Impossible.
He's gone.
I saw him on the cardio bike, though. I respect you for that. He took our New Year's resolutions. But yeah, Marcin Tybura, easy bet. I would bet on him. I think he can take him down. Ground and pound TKO.
Those elbows.
Similar to what he did to Janice.
Yeah, and it's like this is such a big step up in competition. Mick Parkin doesn't have a ranked win.
No, and he got hit so many times his last fight. He just got he didn't get pieced up, but he gets hit. I looked at his strikes absorbed. He gets hit almost the same amount as he gives out per minute. It's like 4.15 to like 4.7.
I saw a scatter plot yesterday of striking about how many strikes you land compared to how many strikes are landed on you. Like most of the UFC was in like the bottom quadrant, pretty even, and then there's like the elite guys here, very top, like not even close. Who do you think was up there?
It could be Pereira. No, Pereira?
No.
Is it what weight class?
They're in like middle-ish, so like lower middle.
Lower middle.
Featherweight and lightweight.
Ooh, okay. Is it Holloway?
Yeah, Holloway.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? That makes sense. He has some stat patty fights. Calvin Kattar, he's patting those stats at the end.
Well, because of his significant strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like he's patting those stats at the end.
Do you remember who else was like high up?
I think, no, they only really talked about Holloway on it, just like because he was so much further ahead than anyone else.
Makes sense.
But
I would guess like Islam would be up there. He doesn't get hit a lot. He's getting better boxing. Maybe an Izzy as well. But who knows?
Even like Sean.
Yeah, Strickland for sure.
I was thinking, I think even either Sean O'Malley, because the only fight he really got like truly like outstruck and was, or like struck equally with, was Peter Yan. Like Sterling's not gonna be able to really strike with him. Those lower fights on the Contender Series and like when he was coming up, he probably outstruck Merab, or the fight was close. So it's like, All right, move on to mine.
Yeah.
All right, my last one. Leon Edwards plus 130 versus Jack Della Maddalena.
Okay.
JDM's his only ranked win is Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
And it's like, it wasn't the most convincing win.
No.
He might have had one before.
Was Kevin Holland ranked at the time when he beat him? I'm not sure.
Oh, who knows about
that?
Yeah,
he could be anywhere.
Who knows?
He could be anywhere.
Ranked, at one point, ranked in the welterweight, 40th ranked middleweight. Like, who knows with that guy? But like, his best win, Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
And it's we just haven't seen a lot. The injury history, it's been about a year since he's fought, and it's like Leon Edwards is very established. He is very established. You know what you're gonna get out of Leon.
Yeah.
And I think that we may be overhyping that loss. Being like, oh, he looked terrible. you could tell watching that fight in that moment that just everything was going wrong for Leon. That was the worst Leon could have possibly fought in that fight. You know, he still is maybe the most technically gifted striker inside of the whole UFC. Like, I would struggle to find anyone who has better technique than Leon Edwards. Like, between the kickboxing and the boxing, like, he is like unreal when it comes to technique. Sometimes to his downfall, sometimes it's to his detriment, but. The guy's beat Kamaru Usman twice. You know, he's beat Colby. He was so high, and then just has one bad fight and the whole world's turned off on him. And it's like, oh, this up-and-comer who has a win over Gilbert Burns is the favorite, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't realistically make sense. You know, I'm probably will be riding Leon in that fight, especially now that he's underdog. I think that you have to, if you were betting, go with Leon Edwards in this fight.
I was going to say something about this fight, but I wasn't sure who was the underdog in it. So, yeah, Leon makes sense being the underdog, but he also has a good chance to just go out there and win a boring 49-46 decision. He also has better experience, you know? So much experience in those 5-round fights. I think that's probably going to be a big difference.
Yeah, those 4th and 5th rounds.
Yeah. All right, last fight. You're not going to like me for this one. It's coming up at UFC Seattle. Cejudo versus Song Yadong.
Oh, I almost put it on.
Cejudo's a big underdog for this. And I'm just sensing a really boring Cejudo 30-27.
No, it would be 5 rounds main event.
50-45. Unfortunately. I'm remembering how the Peter Yan fight went and how he was able to take Song down once he got tired. And I'm thinking, Song gasses out in 2 rounds. That leaves 3 rounds for Cejudo, was a flyweight. So he has lighter man skill, has a good gas tank, fought in plenty of 5-round fights. I'm just worried that Cejudo's going to ragdoll him in the later rounds.
If I wasn't a Yadong fan, this fight would have been on my list. Just with like plus 200 with the wrestler versus like Song Yadong, who's basically just pure boxing. It's like...
Yeah. It's risky for Song.
It's tough. It's a tough fight. It's a very tough matchup for him.
And people are just crazy not overrating, I guess underrating Cejudo because of the Marab performance.
Little baby.
What, Cejudo?
Yeah.
That's what he sounds like?
Can't stand that guy.
I know. He's annoying.
It's literally one of my favorite fighters versus maybe one of my least favorite fighters.
Everyone's least favorite fighter is Cejudo.
So it's like, oh, I just need Song to do it.
I cannot imagine Kamaru Usman having to be on a podcast with him. So annoying. Just have him in your ears all day. Ugh.
Ooh.
So bad.
Have him in your anywhere.
But yeah, he could crawl up a lot of places.
All right, Lucas, I want you to go back on your list.
All right.
With the odds, what is your biggest, lock? If you were given $100 by DraftKings.
Thanks, DraftKings, for now.
And had to place it on one fight, where would you put that $100?
Honestly, I think it has to go to Jan Blachowicz.
I'm parlaying all 8 of my fights. No, I'm either Jan Blachowicz or Pereira. I think that even Royval.
Yeah, Royval's a good shout. For me, my top 2 are Jan Blachowicz and Bilal. Honestly.
Well, that fight doesn't have odds yet.
I know, but
you're made up odds.
Bilal's going to be such a big underdog, trust me.
Yeah,
guys.
Blachowicz, Pereira, and Royval. Those are the ones I'm liking the most.
3 locks.
All right. Let us know what your biggest underdog performance is going to be coming up. Whose odds on here are you riding with? We are such degenerates. We're a gambling channel now.
No, we're
Surprise.
not. We're just rocking with underdogs.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to bet.
Dogging it under the table.
What?
Go down to those comments while you're down there. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See ya.